Hello everyone, a very good morning. Welcome to this paper analysis of your first shift of the BRBL paper. So I have received responses from those who have attempted the shift 1, and most of the responses that I'm getting, according to it, the paper level was easy to moderate. All right, the paper wasn't very tough. It was very much doable. People are scoring more than 60, around 70. Everyone till now that I've received responses, they have cleared the paper. So let us discuss what all questions were asked, what all topics were asked. Very quickly share the session with others also. All those who are here, please comment down below the questions that have been asked in the paper so that the others who have their exam in the second and third shift, they can prepare, they can revise the topics. All right, so let us start. Foremost, many questions were asked from the mortgage part. So around 4 to 5 questions were there from the mortgages. So the different types of mortgages and their characteristics you should revise. Like when we are talking about a simple mortgage. So what are the characteristics of a simple mortgage? Without delivering possession, the mortgager, they bind themselves personally to pay the mortgage money, right? There's no delivery, physical possession that is transferred to the mortgagee. Other than that, the mortgagee will have a special interest on the property that has been secured with them. On the case of default, they can, through the court of a decree, through court intervention, they can get the mortgage property sold. These are the features of the simple mortgage. If we talk about the conditional mortgage, so there will be an ostensible sale. In the case of default, the sale will become absolute. In the case of payment, the sale will become void, right? There is a delivery of possession, but ostensibly. Then, similarly, many questions have been asked from the equitable mortgage. So, the towns in which the equitable mortgage can be created, mortgage by the deposit of title deeds, Kolkata, Chennai, and Mumbai, or any other town which the state government may notify, right? So, there should be the mortgage of the title deeds. The property can be located anywhere in India. So then other than that, the priority of mortgages between a registered and an unregistered one, the registered one will have the priority. Between two registered charges, one that was executed first will have the priority. All right. Other than that, I can see questions were also asked from pledge. So what is the meaning of pledge? Pledge simply means where the goods they are bailed, but to keep it as a security for a loan that is taken, the bailment of goods. So revise the pledge, characteristics of the pledge, responsibilities of the pawner and the pawnee, the legal implications, difference between the actual property, the actual delivery of goods, and constructive delivery. Revise these questions. Constructive delivery, when the handing over of the key of the go down in which the pledged goods are kept. Atonement, if the goods are in the public warehouse, then the warehouse man acknowledges the pawnee that he'll be holding the goods on behalf of the pawnee. Handing over the document of title, like this question was also there. The meaning of document of title. This question was also there. So, what is included in the document of title? The railway receipt, the bill of lading, warehouse receipts, etc. All right. So, this question was asked from the pledge. Other than that, what all questions have been asked? Many questions with no options were there. Questions were lengthy, so you need to go for the easy questions. This is the advice that people who have cleared the exam in the first shift they are given. Then ARC. Okay, questions were there from the Surface Act, the registration of ARC, under which section the registration will be done, then how the cancellation will be given by RBI, and also the time period for making an appeal was asked. Okay, so when the RBI cancels the registration of an ARC, the ARC has the right to make an appeal. They can prefer an appeal within 30 days from the date of communication to the central government. All right, so we will remember this point. Other than that, the reasons for which RBI can cancel the registration: when the company fails to comply with the directions, they fail to maintain account, they cease to carry on the business of securitization, hold any invest from the qualified institutional buyers, fail to comply with the RBI directions. All right, what else was asked? What else was asked? Okay. The share capital of RRB. Again, revise these differentiated banks, revise the paid up capital, share capital of the foreign sector banks, of the Indian public sector banks. Question was asked from the shareholding of the RRBs. So we will remember this shareholding is divided into three parts: the central government, state government, and the sponsor bank, right? So what will be? Central government will hold 50% of it, state government is going to hold 35%, and the sponsor bank that is going to hold it, no, sponsor bank is going to hold 35%, and the state government is going to hold the remaining. All right. Yes. So the sponsor bank by which the RRB is sponsored will hold 35% of the issued capital. Central government is going to hold 50%, and state government will be holding the remaining 15% of the issued capital. So remember this. Other than that, mortgage was there. Questions were also there from the IBC code. We have already revised the IBC code in detail, the insolvency and introduction to the insolvency and bankruptcy code. So the definitions, then the interim resolution professional, how they are appointed, the resolution professional, the four pillars. So revise the IBC as well. Responsibilities of the four pillars you can revise: the insolvency professionals, information utilities, adjudicating authorities is important. So remember the NCLT and DRT. So NCLT is prepared. The NCLT will hear cases of insolvency of the corporate persons, the LLP, the limited liability entities. DRT will be hearing the cases related to the individuals and the partnership. There's also the right to make an appeal against the decisions. So prefer an appeal on the orders of the NCLT to the NCLAT within how many days? Within 30 days. Prefer an appeal on the orders of the DRT to the DRAT. This can also be done. All right. Extended days of 15 days more can be given here. All right. So DRT, DRAT, these are there. Other than that, the minimum number of directors. So directorship, revise the Companies Act, the directorships, the types of directors, the minimum numbers of directors. In a public company, we will write this down, the directorship. So in a public company, minimum number that is required is 3, and in the private company we require 2 directors. Maximum number 15 is there, generally 15, but if the public company it wants to appoint more than the 15 directors, then by a special resolution they can do that. Then at least one director should be a resident. Also, they will have independent directors who are of a person of integrity, possess relevant expertise and experience, right? Apart from it, okay, mortgages we have covered. Question was also there from the public key and private key. So question was also there from the Information Technology Act, the IT Act. So definitions you can revise, like what is the definition of a asymmetric crypto system? Means a system of a secure key pair. So remember a key pair that consists of the private key for creating a digital signature, and the public key to verify the digital signature. So again, we have the private key and the public key. Private key is used to, we will remember, private key is used to create the digital signature, and public key is used to verify the digital signature, right? Public key is used to verify the signature that has been created. All right, so asymmetric crypto. Then questions were there from the FEMA, the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Questions were also there. The contravention question. Okay, so what is the penalty that is required to be paid, the penalty that is imposed under the FEMA Act? So there can be two situations where the amount involved is quantifiable, where the amount involved is not quantifiable. So if anyone contravenes the conditions, he will be liable to pay up to thrice the amount. So FEMA, remember the penalty. If it is quantifiable, the amount involved, then penalty of three times. If it is not quantifiable, then penalty can be imposed up to 2 lakh rupees. 2 lakh rupees. Also, if it is a continuing one, further penalty that can be extended to 5,000 rupees for every day after after the continuation happens. So, continuing one, 5,000 rupees for each day. Okay, till here, I hope everything is clear. No doubts, no queries. All right. Then what else? I have received other questions also. Case study on Right to Information Act was there. Case studies were there. Case studies were lengthy, but they were not tough. So if you want, you can first attempt the easy questions and then move towards the tough ones. All right. So questions were also there from the Right to Information Act. So you can remember the obligations on the public authorities, how they have to maintain the different particulars of the organization, the documents, the norms set by it. They will have to publish within 120 days. So in RTI, they are required to publish within 120 days of the enactment of the act certain necessary public documents. All right. Then the procedure for obtaining information, the PIO will receive the request in written form, right? And in normal cases, the PIO is going to provide the information within 30 days. But if the information requested concerns the life or liberty of a person, then within 48 hours of the when the application is received. If the application is regarding information from a third party, then within 5 days, the information, the request should be transferred. All right. What else? Third party information, 5 days. If rejection is there, the reason should be given. Also, there's a right to appeal. There are two cases of appeal that can be framed. First, there's the if the PIO they reject the information, they have been refused access, or unnecessary delay is there, or incomplete information is there, then a person who does not receive a response, they're aggrieved by the decision by the Central Public Information Officer, then within 30 days they can make an appeal to a superior officer. That is the appellate authority. If they are still against the decision, they're not justified, they're not satisfied, then the appeal will lie to the appellate authority. Appellate authority will be the Central Information Commission or the State Information Commission organized by the central or the state government. All right. Again, this will be done within 90 days. So first appeal to the senior officer within 30 days, second appeal to the information commissions within 90 days. All right. So RTI was there, SFB paid up capital discussed, DRT appeal discussed. Then local area bank question was also there, right? Question was also there from the local area bank. So let us discuss that as well. The area of operation restricted to three geographically contiguous districts In the beginning, when they were set up, 1996, when the decision was taken, the minimum startup capital would be 5 crore. This was decided. All right, then many LABs have been shut down. Presently, the LABs that are in existence are two, right? Only two. The two are Coastal Local Area Bank Limited, right? Head office is at Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, and the Krishna Bhima Samriddhi Local Area Bank Limited, again, the districts of Mehboob Nagar in Andhra Pradesh, it is existing. All right. So question were there from LAB. Okay, okay. Easy questions. Pledge and hypothecation. We have already discussed pledge. Let us once discuss hypothecation also. So hypothecation is basically where the interest is created on the movable property. So let us revise. Hypothecation. So again, the property remains in possession. If the debtor defaults, then it will be transferred. The security on the movable property will be transferred. All right, in which cases the mortgage will be beneficial, it should be given to the respectable customers. When the loan to be raised is against work in progress. Also, goods that require constant handling in a factory like rice mills, oil expellers, right? It will be also convenient when the goods are required, they are in the shop or showroom, required in a day-to-day business. All right, so that is about hypothecation. What else? Three questions were there from Surfacy. Surfacy Act we have already discussed in detail. And auditors, okay, RBI can conduct the returns inspection, right? So regulation of the banking business is given to RBI. For conducting the returns, for conducting the inspection, RBI can also conduct a special inspection. RBI can conduct the scrutiny. All right. Inspection can also be at the behest of the government. If scrutiny is to be conducted, then any public officer is going to conduct, the officer which is appointed by RBI. Right? Any more questions were there? Okay, power to remove the auditor for how many years? Three. Okay, there was a case study on the Negotiable Instruments Act as well. So, Negotiable Instruments Act, please remember the important sections, section 143A and section 148. 143A talks about the interim compensation that will be required to pay when, let's say, there's a the court, they have received the order, they have received the application that a check has been dishonored, and the drawer of the check is trying to plead not guilty. Then the court will hear their opinion, but first they will have to pay an interim compensation not exceeding 20% of the check amount. This is section 143A, right? Section 148 says that an appeal filed by the drawer against the conviction. So there's the appellate court also. But again, the appellate court, there also you need to deposit a sum minimum 20%. It can be more than 20% also. This will be of the amount, that is the order that is passed by the first court. All right, and this will be of the award. Other than that, protection that is provided to the paying banker, to the collecting banker, holder of value, holder in due course, all of these topics you should remember. Then, if a minor attaining majority, every time question is asked in the from the minority, when the minor is admitted to the benefits of a partnership firms, so what will be the requirement? Also question was asked like how do they have to give a notice once they attain the age of majority. So again, revise that question. So minor, if is admitted to the profits, they will be liable only to their share. Once they attain the age of majority, then within 6 months time, the minor has to, on attaining the age of maturity, within 6 months time, they have to make a public notice. whether they want to be elected as a partner or not. All right. 6 months of attaining majority or is obtaining knowledge that he has been admitted to the benefits of the partnership, whichever date is later. If he fails to give the notice, then he shall become a partner in the firm on the expiry of the 6 months, after 6 months, right? So when he becomes a partner, his rights and liabilities of the partner will continue up to the date on which he becomes a partner. But after that, when he is admitted, he will also become personally liable to the third parties. His share in the property and the profits will also become the share as to the third parties or to the firm as a whole, right? Okay. Other than that, okay, this was there. When does the liability start? We have covered this question. All right. So I think basically, all in all, we can conclude the normal questions, topics that are repeated every time: mortgages, Companies Act, Partnership Act, FEMA provisions, Negotiable Instruments Act. Nothing out of the box has been asked in the exam. I will repeat, the paper level was easy to moderate. So revise all of these questions once before you go to attempt the exam in the second and third shift. All right, and that will be enough. If you have any other doubts, if you want to ask any questions, you can ask. Okay, so that is all for this exam analysis. These are the questions that I have received. So revise these questions and take this advice. There are lengthy questions there in the exam, but first try to answer those questions that are doable, those are easy, and that are the scoring ones. And then move on to the case studies or the lending questions. All right, so all the best for those who are going to attempt in the second and third shift. Do let me know your score. Do let me know the questions that are asked in the second shift so that we can help the people who have exam in the third shift. So thank you so much, and I will see you after the next shift now. Thank you, and all the best to those who are attempting in the next shift.